This is Cardone, as you can see, brought in by Ocean Mist, Cardone. There's a little tag number on it too. I guess that's their item number, 4559. Okay, they're the only ones I see bringing in Cardone anymore. All right, now Cardone is it's in the Carciofi, or the artichoke family. Kind of looks like a huge celery, but it's got nothing to do with celery. Big thing. And the pronunciation I just gave you, Cardone, is the way Sicilians pronounce it now when they're trying to sound more Italian, but in reality, the old pronunciation, the old Sicilians would call it Cardone. Just like that, Cardone. Cardone. What are you having? Well, we're going to make Cardone. Okay? But Cardone, if you want people not to look down their nose at you, you call it Cardone. But I don't care about people looking down their noses at me, so I call it Cardone. Okay? And we're going to make Cardone the old Sicilian way. And boy, is it good. So, phase 2 of the Cardone cooking process is to separate the stalks. Just like that. Just break them up just like that and get a big pot boiling. Okay? Can't find the proper lid for that pot. It's in the closet somewhere. My spaghetti pot. Alright? So you just separate the stalks so they're all laying there just like that. Waiting for phase 3. Stage 3 is looks pretty much like it did, right? Well, except for it's all cleaned up now. You notice I took all that junk over there off of the stalks of the Cardone. We'll sound like Italians here, okay? See, it's like a humpback vegetable. See that? You'll see, that'll become important later. Okay? Now, the next stage will be... The next step is to cut them in half. Cut the stalks in half, because they're just too big and unwieldy to do anything with if you leave them whole. You can't fit them in the pot to boil them, and you can't fit them in the frying pan later. And even if you had a pot big enough and a frying pan big enough, you couldn't fit them on a plate. But they're still pretty big. I mean, they're, I don't know, big. As you can see, I mean, here's a hand, and here's a half of a stalk, okay? So that's at this time, when you cut them in half like that, kind of look at each one, make sure there's no leaves anywhere along the edges. And if you see strings along the edges, just pull them off, okay? It's not like a sweater. It's not going to unravel the whole Cardone. You'll just pull those strings off, because you don't want those strings in your food later on. And then we're on to the next step, which is boiling. You're going to take these halves of the stalk and you're going to stick them in a pot of boiling water. Now, I never rapidly boil much of anything. I like to simmer everything. So I get it to a light boil, and we're going to boil them, and I'll show you when to take them out. Okay, so we got our water boiling, as you can see. And now we're just going to drop the vegetable in there. Cardone, which, by the way, apparently there's 2 plants that are referred to as burdock. And one of them is the huckleburr, that when you're hiking through like deserts and fields, you get these horrible things on you. And they stick to you and they hurt you and they stick to your socks and you can't get them off because they prick you. And the other one is this, Cardone. Okay, so I would never call it burdock, that's for sure. But first of all, if you ate the wrong one, you'd die. And secondly, nobody calls it burdock, it's Cardone. Okay, so now we're just going to boil it, and I'll tell you when to take it out. But I'll look at the clock here too. What is it? It is right now 7 minutes after 3, okay? And I'll show you how we know when it's done. Okay, so it's now like 21 minutes after. What did I say before? It was 7 after. Here's how you're going to know that the Cardone is cooked enough. Okay, you're going to take it out and you're going to lay it down hump side up, and you're going to take a fork like this, right? And you're not going to apply a lot of pressure. This one is not spread out properly. You're not going to apply a lot of pressure. You're just going to kind of gently push, and it should flatten out like that. Okay? And you pick it up and you put it on a plate. And I'm going to do this to the rest. You want to do another one? Here, hold on. One good tip. When you want to take the Cardone out of the hot water, the boiling water, don't just put your hand in and grab it. Okay? This is something I hadn't thought to mention until just now, for reasons which, if you could see the color of my hand, would be obvious. Okay? Just flatten it out like that. Gentle pressure should kind of, not break the back so it snaps, just kind of lay it flat. Let me go do the rest of them. Okay, so there is really major stage 1 of Cardone cooking. You boil it, you flatten it. Okay, now you can just leave this here for a while if you want to. I mean, you can go on to stage, major stage 2, but you can just leave it here for a while, just like that. And when you're ready, you're going to dip it in egg and cover it thoroughly in Wondra. Oh, by the way, there was no salt in that water before. So you're going to cover it thoroughly in flour. I use Wondra, and which they use for sauces because it doesn't clump, but that's why I like it on this too. Okay, I'll show you all this. And then you're going to fry it in olive oil. You can put a little garlic in the olive oil, fresh garlic sliced. Okay, that's really all there is to it. Then you're going to eat it hot, but we'll go through it step by step. Okay, now we're all set up here. We got our egg in one plate, got our Wondra in the other, in the platter there, and have a third empty platter ready. And we're going to dip the Cardone real well into the egg, and then coat it real well in Wondra, and lay it in the platter for later frying. So there it is. Okay, it's been cleaned and pulled off the head and cleaned up and cut in half and boiled and flattened, and I dip it in plenty of egg and plenty of Wondra. Okay, I'll just press the, I'll take the egg and I'll rub it right into this stalks, and then I'll just keep turning it in the Wondra and spooning it over and making sure that Wondra gets in every crevice. Now all that needs to be done is to fry it in olive oil until that Wondra is nice and golden brown. Not too hot, but nice and golden brown. Put a little garlic maybe in there, and you're all set. Okay, just be sure when you buy the Cardone, make sure it's nice and fresh. Okay, make sure there's no soft spots or brown spots or anything like that, because it'll get weird if you do. This dish is weird enough as it is. Okay, so next step is we're going to fry it. And there we are, frying in olive oil, a little garlic here and there, as you see. Try doing it. Not golden brown yet. You got to keep frying until you see that nice golden brown color. Well, we're frying right now, and that is the way they should look when they're done. You don't want these things crispy. Okay, you want them soft enough to cut, so they're nice and soft with maybe a little crisp on the outside. And there's that golden brown color you're looking for. You know, nothing overdone, but that's the way it should be.